most clients call and they're very upset because they just found out that they've been cheated by the dealer and they want an immediate resolution. But the law that we use, which is the Consumer Legal Remedies Act, also called the CLRA, requires the consumer put the business entity, which in this case is the dealership, on notice of a violation. Once you get your documents in and we review it and we believe you have a strong enough case for us to take, then we can send you a retainer agreement and some paperwork to get even more information from you. Once we get that back, by law, again, we have to send the dealer a letter. We send the dealership a letter explaining what the violations are. We also attach the documents that you support as evidence and to show that they committed this fraud. By law, they have 30 days to respond. It's very arbitrary with respect to when they respond, if they respond, and who responds. So oftentimes I'll get a call from a dealer owner. If it's a small dealership, meaning it's not a franchise dealership, it's not Nissan or Toyota or Lexus. If it's a small independent dealership, usually the dealer owner will call and they'll say, Pollyanna, I've done nothing wrong, because they always say they've never done anything wrong. And then they say, what does your client want? I don't want to drag this out. What does your client want? And then at that time, we start negotiating. And usually with the smaller dealerships, that can happen within the first 30 days. Sometimes they don't respond at all. They'll just take our letter, put it in the trash, or they receive it, they read it, and they don't respond. Or I'll hear from their attorney. And their attorney will call and say the same thing. My client's done nothing wrong because they never do anything wrong, but they want to resolve this sooner rather than later. And then they'll ask me, what does your client want, Pollyanna? And then I'll call the client and say, look, I've heard from the dealership. They want to resolve the matter. How would you like to resolve it? And then, as we discussed earlier, it's those three options. Is it a buyback, a cash and keep, or the difference between what the client thought they were getting and what the dealer sold?